If you want to improve your grammar skills, then this lesson is for you because I am going to talk to you about some confusing grammar in English. Hey everyone, my name is Wes. This is Interactive English. And if this is your first time here, I want to hear from you. I want you to write your name in the comments because we always love hearing from new people. And today is all about helping you practice and improve your grammar because this is important. You know, grammar is basically talking about the structure of language. We need to use the appropriate grammar to communicate clearly so that we all understand each other. But the problem with grammar is that there are always exceptions. There are things that may be confusing. And that's what I want to focus on today. I want to talk to you about some of those confusing grammar problems, especially that English learners have and that may be a little bit of a challenge. So the way that we're going to do this is that I am going to introduce some of these grammar topics, some of these grammar challenges with a question. So this is an interactive lesson where I want all of you to participate in the lesson. If you're in the chat, I want you to write your answers in the chat. And even if you're watching this later, I want you to participate. That is what interactive English is all about. It's about participating in the lessons. And I want you to use those comment sections as a piece of paper and write your answers there to practice your English skills, because that is the best way that you are going to improve, is just practice, practice, and practice. And as we go through these questions, I'm going to teach you some different grammar that people can find a little confusing. So let's just go ahead and begin with the first question that I have for you, which is this one right here. They're all multiple choice. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about just confusing grammar that everybody finds just a little confusing. And the first one that I have is, I get so when I get the wrong answer. Which word best completes that sentence? Are you going to say A, frustrated, or B, frustrating? I get so when I get the wrong answer. I think many of us, I think you can relate to this, that when we get the wrong answer, you know, it's not something that makes us happy, and somebody might be like, wow, I get so what? What do you think? I'll give you just a moment, and then I'll go over the answer and tell you which one is correct. All right, excellent. I want to give some shout outs for people that have given the right answer. Yes, excellent. Lolly, Michelle, Fredo, Miki, who else we have? Again, Muhammad, Johnny Hernandez. Hi, it's going very fast. Ladon, Angela, the correct answer is A. I get so frustrated when I get the wrong answer. Now, the reason this is confusing grammar, many times learners may confuse ed and ing adjectives. So right down here, I gave you a little bit of an explanation. We use ed adjectives when we describe a feeling or an emotion, when you describe the way you feel about something. I'm frustrated. I'm confused. I'm bored. I'm tired. Those are ed adjectives that describe our feeling. We use ing adjectives when you are describing a person's character, a thing, or a situation. So for example, you'd say, well, I am excited. That's the way I feel. The movie is exciting. And we use that ing adjective. Now, I think the one way this really confuses people is when you're talking about a person's character, because oftentimes I might hear somebody say, and they say, well, I'm boring. And they really want to say that they're bored, that they have nothing to do and nothing is exciting, and they say, I'm bored. But if they say I'm boring, they are describing their character, and they are calling themselves a boring person, which is not what people often want to do. So that is the one part that really, I think, confuses people when you're talking about describing a person's character. Because if you say he's boring or she's boring, then that just means, well, you probably don't want to spend time with that person. So keep that in mind, all right? Ed, ing adjectives, this is something that can confuse people. The next question I have for you is this one. What do you think? Which best completes the sentence? The phone is ringing. Answer it. All right, I'm giving that that's my blank space. Um, so, what would you say? The phone is ringing. Answer it. Would you say A, I'll, which is the contraction of I will, or B, I'm going to? I'm going to. I am going to. Which one? Because we can use either of those to, talk about something that will happen in the future. What do you think would best complete it? And again, I think some of this can be tricky for you. The phone is ringing. Answer it. All right, so I'm going to try and give a few more shout outs to people as people are writing their answers. Yes, Faisal, excellent. IELTS writing. Lolly. Who else we got? Luana, perfect. Yeah, so I think a lot of Saeed, great. A lot of you may have been tricked by this one. The phone is ringing. I'll answer it. I will answer it. Now, you might be wondering, well, this is a slight difference between I will and I'm going to. Now, oftentimes they can be used interchangeably, especially if you're talking about future plans. If you say like, oh, tonight I'll go out for dinner, or tonight I'm going out for dinner. We can use those. It means the same thing. But when you're talking about a quick decision, something where there's not much time, you're going to use I will, I'll. So for example, if you think about the situation, the phone rings, it happens suddenly, and somebody says, okay, I'll get it. Or maybe there is a knock on the door. It was unexpected. It happened suddenly. I'll get the door. I'll answer it. So in that case, it's more common to use I will instead of I'm going to, because when you use going to, it makes me think that there was kind of a plan to do this, but the truth is you never know when the phone is going to ring, or if somebody says, I'm going to, it makes me think the phone has been ringing for a long, long time. Or if you say, I'm going to answer it, maybe you'll answer it 5 minutes from now. It just doesn't make much sense. It's a slight difference. You would say, I will, all right? So, excellent. That is a slight difference between using will and going to. That's good to know because often I think people just think that they are interchangeable, no matter what context. Let's look at this one. All right. The next question is, I plan to go to school to my education. And for this one, maybe I think some of these are a little easier right now because they are multiple choice. I'm giving you an option. I plan to go to school to my education. Is it A, farther, or B, further? Farther or further? Which one best completes that sentence? You're talking about getting an education. I plan to go to school to my education. And excellent. I think we have a lot of great answers. Yes, Mahmoud, yours truly. Abdul Wahab, Vicky, trying to give different names, say everybody's name, get as many as I can. Natasha, yes, the answer is B. I plan to go to school to further my education. Now, when you think about the difference between farther and further, think of it this way, all right? Both refer to some kind of distance. We're talking about a distance. Farther refers to a physical distance, like maybe you're traveling in a plane or a car. That is a physical difference in which you can use a number to say how far it is. In that case, you would use farther, while further refers to a figurative distance. And in this case, you're talking about your education. You are going to go ahead. You are going to become more informed. You're going to get smarter. And you are going to move a distance, but you really don't know how far. There is no number that you're going to be able to assign to that distance. So it is a figurative distance, and you would use further. Now, I will say that further with the U is also sometimes used to refer to physical distances as well. So for physical distances, you may hear somebody say farther or further. But in this sense, you would want to use further, all right? It is a metaphor, a figurative distance. The next question, and again, if you're just joining us, we are just practicing our grammar skills and learning all these different types of grammar concepts that I think can be very confusing. Now, how would you complete this sentence, all right? None of the bananas ripe. All right. What do you think? Is it A, is, or B, are? Which verb to be are you going to use to complete that sentence? None of the bananas, ripe. Are you going to say is ripe or are ripe? What do you think? All right. This question, this is all about subject-verb agreement. Now, the other question that I would have for you, see, again, this is great because I see a lot of different answers. All right. So, yes, I want to give some more shout outs. This one really tricked you. Han Kyung Chung. Han Kyung Chung. Actually, wait. Oh, no. I just wanted to say your name in Korean. I used to live in Korea. But no, that is not the right answer. Ira, yes. Mohammed. Who has Mosti? This one tricked you guys up. All right, I got you guys. Excellent. So, yes, Maria, perfect. The answer is B, are. None of the bananas are ripe, all right? The reason is because you're talking about none. It is an indefinite pronoun, but with this indefinite pronoun, it can be used with either a singular or plural verb. It depends on the noun to which it refers. So, for example, in this case, you're talking about bananas. None of the bananas. Bananas is a plural noun, so this is going to take a plural verb. None of the bananas are ripe. Now, if I gave you a situation in which I say none of the, and I say a singular noun, then I would use is. So keep that in mind. This is an indefinite pronoun in which you can use either a singular or plural verb. It really just depends on the noun, all right? In this case, none of the bananas are ripe, okay? So, good thing to know. Keep that in mind. There are other words too. For example, some is another one. Some is another indefinite pronoun you can use with either a singular or plural verb. Let's look at the next question. All right, so here we go. I had to throw out my I'm giving three blanks, jersey, and get another one. I had to throw out my jersey and get another one. I've given you 3 words here, 3 different adjectives. I want you to put them in order. So I gave you blue, basketball, and raggedy, all right? I want you to take those adjectives, put them in order so that the sentence makes sense, all right? This is all about adjective word order, which is another part of grammar that can be a little confusing. Adjective word order. What do you guys think? All right? So put that in order. Again, if you guys are just joining us, we're talking about different confusing grammar that is challenging for many English learners. And like I said, you can see this question, which is all about adjective which word order. Put those words in order. Which adjectives would you use? All right. I'll give you another second, and then I will tell you the answer. All right. Let's see. I wanted to find something for you. All right. So let's see. Do we have any? Let's see here. Just putting those in the numbers. All right. I'm trying to think. I don't see any correct answers so far. Mohammed asked, what's raggedy? So that is a good question. If something is raggedy, it's an adjective that's often used to describe clothes that is old and torn. Maybe there's holes in it, and it just looks worn down. And most of the time, you would have to throw it away if you say, oh, that shirt looks raggedy. So sorry if I didn't explain that before. Raggedy means something that is old and torn, and sometimes things have sentimental value, and you don't want to get rid of them. Excellent. Yes, Ramad, Carlos, thank you for those answers. So we would say, Nassau, 3, if you want to do the order, raggedy blue basketball jersey, which would be 312, all right? You're talking about I had to throw out my raggedy blue basketball jersey and get another one. Adjective word order can be confusing because right down there I put that together. Usually I think you're going to find maybe just 2 or 3 adjectives used in a row. I think very rarely you're going to have 4 or more adjectives come before a noun. But if we're talking about order, this may vary depending on the site you're going to use, but this is pretty standard. I think you're going to do opinion, size, shape, condition, age, color, pattern, origin, material, purpose. So in this case, I'm talking about the condition first. Something is raggedy. The condition, and then the color, which is blue, and then it's basically the purpose. It is a basketball jersey. That's what it is. Raggedy blue basketball jersey. So adjective word order is something that can be a little confusing. Even if you guys get these wrong, I appreciate all of your answers. That is the best way to practice. Just go ahead and answer. Even if you don't know the answer, write it down, give it a try. If you haven't seen, we have done a lesson on adjective word order before. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I am going to throw a link to it in the chat. That is what I was trying to open up. There it is. Here it is. This lesson, this is a live lesson we did a while back, which I think is very useful. Where is it? About adjective word order. Wait, why? Hold on. Bear with me for 1 second. I feel like I am able to move faster than the internet, and I have to wait. There it is. So if you're looking for more information about adjective word order, check out that lesson. It is very useful. But again, that is great. I want you guys to answer and participate. And I do want to let you know, we love having you guys here. If you want to connect with us, if you want to support what we do here at Interactive English, we always appreciate your support. You can connect with us on Patreon. We are active on Patreon. We have a whole family of patrons that really help make this possible. I will put a link. There's a link in the description down below, and here is another link in the chat if you want to check out our Patreon page, and we offer some cool different rewards. And again, it's another way for you to join the family, connect with us, and support what we do. If you don't, it's okay. No worries. We're still going to come out and do these lessons each and every week to help you guys practice and improve your skills. So let's continue with the grammar. All right, let's look at some more confusing grammar. The next one that I have for you is this. Which is grammatically correct? Now we're getting into a little bit of punctuation. So we're talking about a dialogue, something that somebody says. All right. So you have 4 different sentences to choose from. Sentence number 1. I'll read the sentences, but I can't really explain the the punctuation that they're looking at. I know some people like to listen to our lessons, which is why, I don't know if you noticed this, I actually try to read everything out loud. So in case somebody is listening in their car, they'll still be able to follow along because they don't see it. But in this case, sentence number 1, she said, I took the photo. Number 2, the photo was taken by me, he said. Number 3, I took the photo, he said. Or number 4, the photo, she said, was taken by me. Which one is correct? But for this one, you really need to look at those sentences and determine the correct punctuation. All right, what do you guys think? Which sentence is correct? And if you guys are just joining us, that's okay. Don't worry if you're late. Just jump right in. Start answering questions. We are doing a little bit of a interactive quiz on confusing grammar. All right. Now, I will tell you, there is only one answer for this, and have some correct answers. Yes, Marco, Mary Jane, perfect. Mikey, N. Mahades, excellent. So again, this is a little tricky. The correct answer is sentence number 4. That is our winner, sentence number 4. So let's go ahead. I've highlighted sentence number 4, but I will go ahead and tell you why each one. So some of you put sentence number 1. She said, I took the photo. The problem is, remember, if we're talking about what somebody says, you need to use quotes And when you're using quotes like this, we're talking about two, all right? There are those two lines around that. In that sentence, I just put the one, which means it is not correct. That is not the correct way to say these quotes. The next one, number 2, the photo was taken by me, he said. This is an example of the passive voice, all right? In that case, you're using the verb to be followed by the past participle. Instead of was taking, it should be was taken, all right? So was taking, that is incorrect. Number 3, I took the photo, he said. In this one, number 3 is incorrect because the quotes are around the wrong part of the sentence. You don't want to put the quotes around he said. You want to put the quotes around I took the photo. So number 3 is incorrect. And number 4, this is an example of a divided quote. It's not something that you will see this if you're reading. People will take quotes and they will divide it. And the reason it's a divided quote, because I said, quote, the photo, he said, was taken by me. And again, this is written in the passive voice. The photo was taken by me, but I've divided the quote and said, he said. So again, you would have quotes on the first part, the photo, and you need that comma there. You need that comma. She said, comma, and then quotes, was taken by me. All right. So again, this is a little tricky. This was a punctuation question. And I think the best way to be able to learn this and identify this is just to read. The more you read, you will see that the grammar is written correctly. Reading is such a great way to improve your grammar skills without actually actively practicing your grammar skills. Today, we're really practicing our grammar skills because I want you to answer these questions. But reading is a great way to get exposure to the correct grammar, and you guys can just keep practicing, practicing, and practicing. All right, let's look at the next one. So, we for the bus for over 20 minutes. Hopefully, it'll arrive soon. All right. Now, I'm going to just tell you which one best completes the sentence. Which one best completes the sentence? We for the bus for over 20 minutes. Hopefully, it'll arrive soon. Is it A, waited, B, have waited, or C, have been waiting? Which one best completes the sentence? We for the bus for over 20 minutes. Hopefully, it'll arrive soon. Write your answer in the chat, and if you're watching this later, write your answers in the comments, because again, it's good. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. So, excellent. I think, wow, everybody was really knocking this one out. Yes, Kiko, yours truly, Jyothi, Shell Leonardo, Natasha, excellent, Trin Trong, Aziza, sorry if I mispronounced names, Derry, I'm trying to say as many new names as possible. The answer is C. That is the one that will best complete the sentence. We have been waiting for the bus for over 20 minutes. Hopefully it'll arrive soon. You use the present perfect continuous to talk about a continuous action, started in the past, it has continued to the present, and will likely continue into the future. That is the situation in which you would use this verb tense. I think sometimes it's confused with the present perfect. And you could say, for example, we've waited for the bus for over 20 minutes. However, I added that last part. Hopefully it'll arrive soon, which basically means that you will still be waiting. You are still waiting right now. So it's talking about something that is happening, an action that is continuous right now. So that is why the present perfect continuous, that is the correct answer for this question. The next one, are you ready? And this is something that I feel like learners confuse a lot, especially in their writing. If I would see learners write stories or write essays or just practice their grammar, and they would really confuse this. I wonder where eat dinner tonight. I wonder where eat dinner tonight. Is it A, they will, or B, will they? All right, which one completes that sentence? There's only one right answer. All right. So would you say, I wonder where they will eat dinner tonight? That is A. Or B, I wonder where will they eat dinner tonight? Which one do you think best completes this sentence, A or B? Write your answers, and I will give you just a moment, and then I will tell you the correct answer. Wow, you guys are actually, most of you are really, you're rocking this one. Excellent. So, perfect. Andre, excellent. Arifiena, perfect. Chandima, excellent. Aman, yes. The answer is A. They will. I wonder where they will eat dinner tonight. Now, the question that I would have for you, if you answered A and you answered correctly, I would then say why. Why is that the case? Why do we say they will instead of will they? And if you can explain that, then that is great. That means that you have that advanced level of grammar that you can talk about what this is, because the reason that we use they will is because this is a noun clause. Where they will eat dinner tonight, that is a noun clause. And a noun clause, all right, so if you don't know, it is a dependent clause. It acts as a noun. So where they will eat dinner tonight, that is my whole noun clause. It acts as a noun. It has a subject, which is they. It has a verb, which is will. And often these clauses, if you want to identify them, they often begin with words such as how, that, what, where, why. There's many, wherever, whatever. There's many different words that you can use. Now, when you're writing this and you're writing the clause, remember, a sentence follows a pattern. It's not a question. This is not a question. So you need to have the subject and then follow it with the verb. They will eat. All right, so you are going to follow it with the verb and not the other way around. I think oftentimes when students might see this, they have where and they think question, and then they want to switch the subject and the verb, but not in this case. The same way if said, I wonder where they will eat for dinner tonight, I can follow that with another noun clause and say, I don't know what they will eat for dinner tonight. What they will eat for dinner is another noun clause. Again, what they will eat. All right. You're going to have subject and then the verb. Excellent. Let's look at the next one. Yes, somebody said that one, that last one, that was not a question. All right. It's just something that somebody's thinking. They're wondering. What do you think? I suggest that everyone are Saturday lessons. Which word completes that? This is confusing grammar. All right. I've seen this. This is a mistake that, yes, many learners tend to make. This is a little more advanced grammar. So let's look at, where is it? So write your answer in the chat. What do you think best completes that sentence? I suggest that everyone are Saturday lessons. A, join. B, joins. Or C, will join. All right. So I have some good answers. I'm trying to find, if you bear with me, I'm trying to find another video for you, another video lesson to share with you that's going to help you better understand the answer if you want more information about these. That is very useful. So let's look. All right, found it. So the correct answer, yes. I want to give some shout outs to, yes, excellent, Mohammed, Eloisa, perfect, Kiko, yes. Do we have any others? The correct answer is A. I suggest that everyone join our Saturday lessons. Now, you may be looking at this and be like, wait a second, subject-verb agreement, everyone joins. But in this case, I suggest that is talking about the subjunctive mood, a suggestion that somebody has. So in that case, I suggest that everyone join our Saturday live lessons. The subjunctive mood, it refers to a hypothetical situation in which you use the base form of the verb in the noun clause. So right there, we just talked about noun clauses. It's another noun clause. I suggest, and then that everyone joins our Saturday lessons, that is our noun clause. It starts with that, and then we have our subject, everyone, and our verb, join. but it is the subjunctive, so we're going to say everyone join. All right, there are many verbs out there that when you see that identify like, oh, it is the subjunctive mood. For example, I recommend, I demand, I insist. So those are some other verbs that you would use with the subjunctive mood. And for more information on that, I suggest you can check out, we did another lesson in the past about grammar mistakes that even advanced learners often make. And if you'd like to check out that lesson, I'm throwing it right there in the chat. You can check that out a little later. All right, so that is the subjunctive mood. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so this is, I'm sorry, you're looking at this like, oh, goodness. I want you to first read this and tell me, how many mistakes do you see? How many mistakes? And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that they are all mistakes with prepositions, because you can't do a confusing grammar lesson without talking about prepositions. So this is a great way to practice this. I've had this little reading for you. I want you to say, how many mistakes with prepositions do you see? First, let's identify the mistakes. That's the first step in this process. So I'll just go ahead and read it for you. It says, okay, read it. I'm going to read it as is. A long time ago, I had a terrible flight experience leaving to New York. First, the flight was delayed from 3 hours. Many people complained over waiting was so long. A few hours later, everyone was told the plane was incapable at taking off. I had to wait until the next morning to leave. That was a long time ago. Now I can look back and laugh on it. All right, so if you're just listening to me read it, probably some of it sounds a bit awkward. So there's actually quite a few mistakes with the prepositions. So the first thing I want you to do is just look at it, look at those prepositions and find, well, how many mistakes do you see? And then we're going to go through and identify them and talk about, well, which ones, how do we change these? All right. So this is a longer question all about prepositions. All right. So, all right. See some different answers in there. Excellent. I'm going to go back. Yes. All right. I'm going to give some shout outs for people that have found all of them. Yes. IELTS writing. Nice job. Who else do we have? Anybody else? No, gosh, most people say 5. Okay, there's more than 5. All right, I'll go ahead and tell you. All right, there are 6 mistakes with prepositions. There are 6 mistakes. I have highlighted those mistakes for you right here. All right, so now you can see the mistakes. Leaving to New York, it's a mistake. Delayed from 3 hours, mistake. Complained over waiting, mistake. Waiting with so long, mistake. Incapable at taking off, mistake. And laugh on it, mistake. Now what I want you to do is go through, all right? See if you can change it. Which is the correct preposition you should use? I'm not going to go through each of these individually. Try to write them out. So write the preposition and then maybe write New York and then write the next one. So I will tell you why it was a mistake and the correct preposition that you should use. But I want you to go through and think about what should you change those prepositions to. For example, my flight was experienced leaving to New York. That is a problem, all right? The key word there is leaving, all right? You're talking about leaving some place. And if you're talking about flying, all right? All right. We see some different. Yes, Saeed. Excellent. That's what we're looking for. Delayed. Yes. All right. Lata. Perfect. Delayed for. Krishna. Excellent. Yes. Han. Chung. Perfect. Allison. Yes. So those are some great. Let's look through this together. Okay. So, a long time ago, I had a terrible flight experience leaving from New York. Remember, you would travel to some place, but if you're leaving, you're going to leave from there. So you're leaving from New York. First, the flight was delayed by 3 hours. So something might be delayed by a certain amount of time, delayed by. Because in this situation, there are verbs that are usually followed by certain prepositions, as well as some adjectives that are often followed by prepositions, and that's what I tried to throw in there. So the flight was delayed by 3 hours. Many people complained about waiting for so long. So you would complain about something. Now, you could complain to someone if you're talking to a person. But in this case, we're not talking to a person. You're talking about, you're complaining about the delay. And you are complaining about waiting, or you're complaining about waiting for so long. You wait for a period of time. After a few hours, everyone was told the plane was incapable of taking off. You are incapable of doing something. I had to wait until the next morning to leave. That was a long time ago. Now I can look back and laugh about it. I often think you could say, you could laugh at it. I think that might be acceptable as well, but I think more appropriately, like if you're talking about thinking about something in the past, more often people would say, well, they laugh about mistakes in the past. I can look back and laugh about it now because it's already happened, all right? So I hope that you guys did well. If you got all of those correct, then write to me in the chat, write perfect. Write the word perfect so I know that you knew the answer to all of those, because this prepositions, those are tricky little function words that, again, they are difficult to learn. You just have to practice them, like in this exercise right here, or again, reading really helps you because you are seeing the verbs followed by the correct preposition. And over time, you take that information in. So I hope that this grammar quiz, this little interactive quiz, was helpful for you. That is what it's all about in order to practice your skills and actually talk about why the grammar is the way it is. So if you learn something new, if you enjoyed this lesson, please hit that like button. Let me know. That is the way that you can let me know that, okay, in the future, we should do more grammar lessons. We should do more grammar quizzes like this because it helps you. It helps you improve your skills and it helps you understand grammar a bit more. Hit that like button. Let me know. And as always, you guys can write us questions in the comments. We love hearing from you. And be sure to check out our social media. We are active on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. You can find us there. Lolly says, oh, wrong. Oh, no, that's not good. We will definitely have more practice like this in the future because it's a great way for you guys to participate in these lessons. That is what it's all about. That is a great way to improve your skills. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, Andre, Nekla, perfect, Aziza. Can we say leaving New York? You could say leaving and take that preposition out. Yes, that would be fine. Swati, Angela, thank you guys. Lata, Tom Time, perfect. Andre, Rosny. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time. So long.